Welcome back, everyone. We frequently hear about people being imprisoned, tortured, and killed for offending members of the religion of peace. The penalties for insulting Muhammad are often swift and severe, and they occur in both Muslim and non-Muslim countries. While there are numerous problems with all of this, there is a fundamental problem that is frequently unaccounted for. If this problem is fixed, then penalties for insulting Muhammad will simply go away. Yes, you heard that right. People everywhere will be able to freely criticize Muhammad. To understand what I mean, let me make a comparison. Imagine giving someone a magnificent, beautifully wrapped gift, and then expecting them not to open it. Similarly, imagine knowing what Muslim sources say about Muhammad and then not reviling him. The Muslim sources make this too easy. Here's the problem. People who insult Muhammad just cannot help it. I'll give you two examples and then we'll talk about the implications this should have for Muslims encountering criticism of their prophet. These examples will be familiar to you, so we'll go through them rather efficiently. Did I say two examples? I meant 20. According to Muslim sources, for the first 150 years of Islam, Muslims nearly universally believed that their prophet recited satanic verses. Muhammad's satanic inspiration is comparable to absolutely zero actual biblical prophets. Muhammad is in a class of his own, in many ways, actually. According to Muslim sources, it didn't take Satan to overpower Muhammad. A Jew and a simple hairbrush will do. And that's how Muhammad was bewitched. According to Muslim sources, Muhammad's recitation confirmed both the Torah and Gospel, but as many have noted, the Quran shows no substantial knowledge of what the Torah and Gospel actually are. It does, however, frequently mistake rabbinic legend and Christian folklore for the scriptures of the Jews and the Christians. These are just a very few examples to which many could be added. See the video playlists on my channel. Meanwhile, the Quran frequently contradicts the Torah and Gospel. According to Muslim sources, Muhammad spoke other languages, including camel. No, wait, he snorted like a camel when receiving his revelations. If the Quran and Hadith frequently seem no more intelligent to you than a camel snorting, now you know why. In spite of claims about miraculous scientific knowledge in Muslim sources, according to these same sources, Muhammad had an absolutely ridiculous understanding of what makes babies resemble the parent. It depends on which parent finishes first. In spite of claims about miraculous scientific knowledge in Muslim sources, according to these same sources, Muhammad believed one fly wing contained a disease and the other the cure. According to Muslim sources, Muhammad let assassins kill people who insulted him. According to Muslim sources, Muhammad told his followers to circle a pagan shrine and kiss a pagan rock. According to Muslim sources, Muhammad forgot the Quran, forgot how to pray, and forgot the night of power. According to Muslim sources, Muhammad had sex with women because they were his property. But according to Muslim sources, women are good for more than just that. For example, Muhammad told women to breastfeed adult men to ease sexual tension. According to Muslim sources, Muhammad continued to stand for women's rights by declaring they are the majority of hell due to their intellectual deficiency. According to Muslim sources, Muhammad advanced women's rights even more when he did not defend a woman who had been beaten so badly her skin was obviously bruised. According to Muslim sources, Muhammad advanced baby women's rights when he expressed his interest in marrying a baby. Fortunately, Muhammad died before she was old enough to play with dolls and thus to marry and consummate the marriage. Speaking of consummating marriages with girls who play with dolls, according to Muslim sources, well, you know what Muhammad did to little Aisha. According to Muslim sources, Muhammad prohibited adultery while redefining lawful sexual intercourse to allow men to have sex at will with multiple wives, as well as slave girls they own, which sounds a lot like adultery. Women's rights are all over the place here. There's so much women's rights, I just can't even. According to Muslim sources, in Muhammad's paradise, women have the right to be custom-made objects dedicated for the fulfillment of the eternal lust of men. And according to Muslim sources, Muhammad was not at all gross because he took a single bath after having intercourse with all of his wives in one night, and he also got his child bride to scrape his reproductive fluid off of his clothes with her fingernails. Clearly, these examples, to which many more could be added, demonstrate one thing. It is difficult to insult or criticize Muhammad any more than the actual Muslim sources do. According to Muslim sources, Muhammad is an absolutely repulsive individual who wouldn't know the values, ethics, theology, or history, for that matter, of the Torah and Gospel, no matter how hard or how many times a cave demon squeezed him. That is the fault of the Muslim sources, not anyone else's. So, how should the Muslim world respond to criticism of their prophet? Consider this simple procedure. Ask, is the criticism of Muhammad that I'm hearing worse than what my own sources actually say? The answer to this question is always no. Critics do not need to invent material. There is nothing anyone needs to make up to criticize Muhammad. In fact, most people aren't perverted enough to make up the filth that's in the Muslim sources. Overwhelmingly, the criticism comes directly from Muslim sources. So again, the answer to this question will inevitably be no. For some Muslims, the answer to number one entails that you stop whining when people criticize your prophet. Stop whining about critique, stop whining about hatred, stop playing the victim, all because you want to avoid what your sources say. For other Muslims, this entails that you stop your violence, stop beating, burning, and killing critics. What both the whiners and the jihadis have in common is that they show their religion to be demonstrably absurd. Muslim sources portray Muhammad as a nasty fool, and then Muslims get mad at others for simply pointing out the obvious. So the next time you whiners or wannabe jihadis hear criticism of your prophet and get fired up with religious zeal, just ask yourself, is the criticism I'm hearing in my own sources or worse than what my own sources actually say? Then realize the answer to this question is uncomfortable. Then be quiet or back away from your keyboard, you keyboard warrior, or put down your weapon, and then allow yourself to do something completely new. Think for 5 seconds about why it is you get so angry when people tell you what your sources actually say. Then think about where the real problem is. Finally, consider this reality. In making your sources about Muhammad available to so many people, you've given us all a magnificent, beautiful gift. Surely you don't expect us to refuse this gift, do you? So when you hear us reading your sources back to you, think of it as our gift to you, from all of us. However you react to criticism of Muhammad, keep one thing in mind. This is a gift that keeps on giving, and we'll make sure of it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.